Hello and welcome to a new video tutorial on your next programming project. And this is the revamped version of the Snakes and Ladders game that involves just one player, just so we're able to finish the code on time and also to give you a different sense of how you can change the game slightly, but then still following the same rules. Now, the normal Snakes and Ladders game, I'm going to play a video just for you to see how it's supposed to work, but ideally what's really happening is that two or more players play this game and the players just roll the dice. The player with the highest roll will be the one to start. The objective is that the player's token moves across the player's token. Both players or more move across the snake board, and whichever token arrives the final box or the final position on the board, that's the winning person. So this game works in exactly the same way, but the only difference is that it's one player. And so once the player rolls the dice, there's an animated effect that shows both dice rolling. And basically the computer is the one picking the position, so acting as the player, because the player selects to roll the dice. And then the computer chooses the position for the player to be able to move the token across the snake board. And that's how the token moves. And if the player is if the computer chooses the right positions for the player, and so the computer acting as the player is just basically rolling the dice and accepting to roll the dice, which you're going to see in the run. Then if the player arrives at the final home box, then it means that the player wins. So I'm going to show you a version of how this program is supposed to work, and I'll show you a version of how the original game is, and so you see the slight difference in how we've revamped this program. So when we click start, the program runs. There's background music. I put in my name. So the player has to first pick the token that he or she wants that would be running on the snake board. So I'm going to pick token B. And then it starts. As you can see on the start square, the objective is if the player goes home or reaches home, that means the player has won. So now the question is asking, I'm going to mute the sound here. So there's background music throughout. So it asks, would you like to roll the dice? If the player says yes, the dice gets to be rolled. That's the animated effect. And so the player moves. There's also a rule about this game is if the player lands at the bottom of the ladder, they automatically go to the top. So the position is changed. If the player lands at the head of the snake, then the player automatically goes down. So those are kind of like the two rules. So let's see if the player's going to win. Remember, the computer is choosing the position as the player decides to roll the dice. Okay, this looks good. Player might actually win. If the player goes to a position that's greater than the final position, that means like a 30, and the computer chooses to move 2 places, obviously 32, which we don't have, and so the player will be restarted again. So this is why the game is fun and interesting, because it's quite challenging as well, and the player is trying to get to the final position, which is at home. So right now we're rolling. Okay, it looks like we're really close, but we might be unlucky. Yeah, so because the computer rolled, the last position was 29, and so the computer rolled to choose 4 for the player. And so once the player decided to roll the dice, of course, and so 29 plus 4 essentially is 33. So that would be too much. That would be 2 positions more than home. So that's the reason why the player is restarted. So let's try again. So essentially, this would keep the user engaged and playing, trying to win, because you're trying to win with the computer playing for you. So you just keep saying yes to roll the dice. And now we're in position 25. So let's hope that the computer does not go past. Okay, so 25 and the computer chose position 10. So that's why we have a computer choice right there. And so 25 plus 10 is 35, which is much more in terms of positions than home. So again, the player is restarted. So it keeps going on and on until the player tries to win. So here we move again. We're going to have a fun winning screen at the end, because then this is like a victory. Player finally like, yes, I've won, at the end, because you're playing with the computer. And so now I'm on 29. We might be lucky. Let's see. Oh no, so the computer chose 3, which was actually very close to rolling quite close to home. So we try again. You keep playing and you're addicted to keep playing because you want to try to win to get to the home. So you keep going. So here you notice sometimes the player goes up and down. Remember, according to the rules, if the player lands at the bottom of the ladder, they go to the top. If the player lands at the top of the snake, they go to the bottom. So those are like the 2 main rules in the game. Ooh, all right. So the computer picked position 12 while I was at 20. So that's 32, just like one extra position more. Okay, let's keep trying. We might actually win. So this is, oh, we finally won. So that is it, guys. That's pretty much how this game works. So we are going to get started on the game. So the original version of the game is very similar to what we have, but the only difference is that there's more players. Of course, you can do that as an extension, but just to show you how the game works, I'm going
Snakes
to
and
play this
Ladders
video.
is a fun board game for 2 or more players, where players race to get to the end of the board first. To start the game, have each player place a token on the starting square on the board. Then, everyone rolls the dice and the player with the highest roll goes first. On your turn, roll the dice and move that number of spaces. If you land on the bottom of a ladder, climb up the ladder to the space at the top. If you land on the head of a snake, slide down the snake to the space at the tail. Play continues clockwise until one player reaches the last square on the board first and wins.
All right, guys, so you've seen the original version. So now we can get started to work on this tutorial video. First thing we're going to do on this tutorial, on this programming project, So the first thing we want to do is we want to have a nice home screen that basically welcomes users to the game. Then we want to have a second screen that's going to be containing these icons that you would need to choose from a website called Icon Archive and basically determine, so these icons would be placed on the second screen with the options of A, B, C, D for the player to be able to choose which icon they would like to be on the token board. So that's what we're going to be working on. So let's get started. So we are going to go, first of all, we're going to go to the home screen of Replit. And you will have your different photos that you need for this project, especially the animated photos for the rolling of the dice. And then, of course, you would have also the photo for the snake board, which I am going to replace actually with another photo right now because that's not the updated version. So I'm going to be replacing it with the one that's called the snakes one. So there's like snakes or snakes one. So I'm pretty much just going to download the snakes one, so this one right here, and then I will upload it back so that you can make use of this picture, of course, because that's going to be the snake board. The reason we're using it is because it's the one that has like all the positions that already have been set for the X and Y coordinates. So I'm going to go and then just put that picture. So you now have this picture here as well. So the snakes board is also here. You will need to download these photos and then of course upload them to your program. So that's the most important thing to do. So right now this is the snakes board and these are the dice, animated dice that you would be using to roll for the player. So the first thing to do is go to your Replit home screen. And we are going to click on Create REPL so we can create this project. Of course, the template's going to be Turtle, so Turtle. And so Python with Turtle, and the title is going to be Snakes and Ladders Game. So I'm just going to write Programming Project or start with Snakes and Ladders Game because I have a title already like that. And I'm just going to put Programming Project, but you don't have to put that. And then of course click on Create REPL, and then it's going to create a REPL, and this is the REPL right here. So the next thing to do is now that you've created your turtle REPL, you obviously have to clear all the information that you have. So just keeping import turtle, and also because you need to import turtle because you're going to be inserting graphics, and also taking everything away you have here enclosed in these quotation marks because we're going to be putting the headers or headings. The first thing to do is to put your author name, of course, that's going to be your name. Program name, the name of your program, and that's going to be Snakes and Ladders Game. Don't forget to put the extension .py. Date created, so when did you create this program? And that's going to be 27th as of recording this tutorial video. And then date modified, which means when was the last date you came back and make modifications. So we're going to leave this blank since we're just starting to create it. Next thing to do is obviously to download these photos because you're going to need them, and then download them and come back and upload them. So I already have these photos, and all I can do is I'm just going to drag drop. Oops, I would have put that rather not there, but inside of my file here. So I could just go also do upload file. So we need to upload our photos. And I'll go select downloads, and of course select the snakes one, which is the snake board. And then of course go back upload file. So if you wanted to upload any image, and go and select the other pictures, which I hope I can easily find here because I have a lot of folders. So hoping I can find it very easily. Let's search it up. If not, I could also drag and drop. So let me see if I can just do a quick search here. Okay, snakes and ladders. I did do that. And it doesn't come up. So I'm just going to go back here and find it. And then I'll just drag and drop those pictures. And it's the same pictures you have. So there's no difference. So first I want to drag and drop those options, those frames that I have for rolling the dice. So you just drag them, put them here, or you can just upload them once you download from the folder you would have access to, and just select them and upload. So we have all the frames that we need to make the dice roll. And we have, of course, our snakes one photo that we're going to be using for the snake board. So all the pictures are in here. Once you have all your photos, the next thing you want to do is to go and work on designing the home screen. And so to do that, we're going to go to Lunapic. So on lunapic.com, you need to kind of get very creative in your design. So what we're going to do is design a nice home screen that's going to have like a start button, start game button. So once they click on it, it's going to open the second screen for them to choose the icon that they would, the picture icon they would like to use as their token on the snake board. And that's for the player. So first thing you do once you're on Lunapic, you go to File and you go to New Blank Image. Select the color you would like, of course, from this new canvas with color. So the background color of this canvas. I'm going to select a color and click on choose and then click on go. Don't change the size of your canvas because this really fits well on the Replit window. So this size is good enough. I feel like I'm going to have to change my color a little. Let me try selecting. Okay, this is a pretty nice color I haven't used before. So once you're done with the background color of your canvas, you go to borders and you select border tool. You can now select a tiled border if you would like, something like that. Or you can select, so there are different type of tiled borders, or you can select a color. For example, something like this. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with a color, but probably let me try some other colors and see if there's like one that I really want to work with. These were all really darky colors. I think I'm going to go with a light color. I'm going to stick with green. So you can increase the thickness of your border. I'm going to make it 30, and you can just click on apply once you're done. Now this is kind of the canvas how it looks like. The next thing to do is to go to the text tool because you want to put like a title. So I'm going to be putting Snakes and Ladders Game as my title. And then of course the title is going to come up here. You can change the color and font style. I really like going with the Jelly Roman font style for me. And then you can obviously change your color as well. So whatever color you want to appear here, you can make your changes, see which one really goes with you well. And I think I'm going to use this one. So the yellow one's my fit. You can increase the font size and you can put a pattern if you like. There's also pattern options. It looks like that if you put a pattern. So I'm not going to put any pattern, but just letting you know, strawberries or different type of patterns you can use. So there are many cool ones just to make your home screen really attractive and nice. So I'm not going to use any patterns. I guess I'm just going to go with, I don't think there's any pattern I would use though. Yeah, no, I would need, even if I wanted to use a pattern. This is a pretty cool one. Actually, I can use this one that's clouds. I may use the clouds instead of the color. So I'm going with the pattern this time. So just arrange your text well where you want it to be, and then click on apply text. So don't apply text before arranging the text. So now click on apply text. So now it's going to stay in there. The next thing to do is to put a picture, so representing sort of like snakes and ladders or something to do with it. And to do that, there's an easy way. Just go to draw on your Lunapic, select clip art, and then you can select for a different type of photos here. So I'm just going to go look for something kind of related. So let's see if I get anything from typing in the keyword snakes and ladders. I don't get anything, so let's type in snakes. If I could get a snake, I could definitely use it. So I did get some options here. You can click on next page if you wanted to see some more options. And I guess what I'm going to do is use this one. This really goes with my color consistency of my background. So just click on any picture that you like. You can search again here for any keyword. It doesn't have to be snakes, could be ladders, whichever one you want. You can also download the photo, but then it requires another process to do the downloading and blending the two photos together. So I'm just going to choose one from here. If you want to click next, you can also click next. So there are many, many options if you wanted to see more options of, snakes or ladders. So I'm just going to click the picture. So once you click a picture you like, one thing I would suggest is reduce the size so it's not too big, because you need to be able to put in a section of the button that's going to be like a start button here, a start game button. So I think this is pretty okay. So right now I'm just going to put this snake over here and slightly down. So arrange your picture. Once you click on the picture you like, click on apply, and it's applied. The last thing to do is the button. So there's like a draw square option on the left side. So click on the draw square option and you can draw a button down here. And that's the one we're going to do right now. So I'm going to go with somewhat of a similar pattern that I already have. I think I'm going to go with the green. Let's try that. So you can select, once you click on draw square for your button on the left side, you can select either you want to have a normal rectangle or a filled rectangle. And I want to have a filled rectangle. You can select the color and click on choose. And you can even increase the pen size if you want to make it thicker. So essentially, I want to have a button right here that's going to say start the game. And so once you draw the button size, you can click on apply, and it's going to apply that shape that you've put in. So I put in a rectangle. The next thing you want to do is to put text here that says start game. So I'm going to go back to the text tool. I'm going to write down just start game. I'm going to also choose the pattern I used before, which was clouds. And the style of writing, just to keep the consistency, was Jelly Roman. But of course, I would have to reduce the size so this can fit in. So you can just reduce the size. I'm going to go with like a 30, something like a 35. You can increase the size if it's too small. And then I really think this is not really going with the colors, so I may actually change my pattern a little. Let's try grass. Grass is pretty cool. So I might use grass, start game, which makes everything clear and nice. So, or you can use a color, like I said. If you're happy, click on start, apply text. Then it's going to stay there, and you're finally done with your snakes and ladders. So everything's finished at this point. If you want to put some more designs and stuff, I would say go ahead. If you want to keep it simple, well, this is a simple design. Once you're finished, just make sure you scroll down and click on the save button so it downloads this picture. However, if you're not able to see the save button for some reason, make sure you clicked on apply text or apply, because if you don't apply, that's probably why you're not seeing the save. If you still don't see the save at that point, you can go to click on text tool again and then scroll down. You should be able to see save. So now I'm just going to click save to download this picture to my computer, and I'm going to go to my downloads option, and you can see that I have this picture downloaded right now. So I'm going to rename this picture, and then I will upload it back into my program. So that's what you need to do. I'm going to call this background_1 because we're going to have a second picture as well. Or you can just call it background, or you can even call it, I think I'm going to call it screen 1. So I have like multiple screens. We need to create like 2 screens. So this and another one. Now go back and click on upload file and select your screen. So I'm going to select this and click on screen. So we have the screen now for our home screen. I'm going to rename the screen to something else. Well, not rename it, but just to change the extension, because remember with Python Turtle, the Turtle library usually prefers using GIF sort of format photos, not PNGs or not JPGs, but just GIFs. So you have to just remove that extension of .png and replace it with .gif. So this is our background. We're going to be putting in the codes to show the background and also to make this button clickable, because we want to make it functional like an on-event action. So once they click on this button, the second screen gets to be opened. And going back to the second screen, I'm going to go back to my design. I would say you guys make sure you have your original design. Don't close your LunaPic. And on the screen, I'm just going to be putting 4 icon choices for them to choose which one they would like for their token. So once you're back to this design, let's go to a website called iconarchive.com. Iconarchive.com contains almost 800,000 free icons you could use. And these are icons you would provide the user with options so that he or she could select. And that would be his icon that would be moving on the as a token on the snake board. So I'm going to go with, there's also categories. If you select categories, you can see some icons like emojis and stuff like that. Or you can see some animals. There's different type of categories, so you can choose which one you want. I'm just gonna go with basically, I guess, selecting, let's see. I would really like to go with some emojis. Let's see what we have on emojis. All right, there are some very interesting emojis. You can just search up which one you really want. There's so many options to choose from. I might go with children's books. Let's see. Ooh, this looks pretty nice. Okay. I'm going to be choosing some animal icons. So if you like any icon, just click on the icon and just say, I'll download, just download the icon really. So I'm just going to download this as one of my icon choices that I'll be providing the user with. And then you need to download 4 of them. So I'm going to go with this one too. Just download it as well. And then just go with 2 more to go. I'm going to go with something that's kind of facing forward that moves. I like the penguin, so I'll go with the penguin one. And then there's 1 more to go. So what can I go with? Trying to look, oh, favorite, the cat. All right, so I have my 4 icons. You just go to this website and download 4 icons of your choice. And I have icon, this one, and that one. So these are the ones we need to upload in LunaPic and put them in as choices. So I am going to add a text and say, please choose a token. Or you can, you don't need to do that. You can just put them and give it as an instruction, which I think I might actually do. So once you get to this part, go back to your original design and then click on the option that says copy image to clipboard so you can copy this design. And now, to be able to upload photos and attach them to your canvas on LunaPic, the procedure is a little bit different than going to Draw and ClipArt, where you're attaching photos from ClipArt. What you have to do here is you have to go to Upload. Once you first have to make sure that you open your canvas and you copy image to clipboard, then go to Upload and then select, click on Browse, and pretty much just select your picture that you want. So click on the first icon right here and say open, and there's the picture. So click on, so once you upload your photo, just click on again, copy image to clipboard. So you have it copied and go to your original design. If you scroll down, there's this option that says undo history. So click on the original design and you get back to this original canvas. Now you can go to effects and blend 2 images. And once you do that, you see that your photo comes up. Of course, you have to resize this photo because you're going to be needing to put the photo, and of course you need to put as well the option. Make sure you have room to be able to include all the remaining photos that you need, because you're going to put 1, 2, and then 3, and probably a 4, and then just put their options right there so they know which options they are. You can put them in the middle so that you have space to put in the options. So this is like my first icon. So, and again, you have to, one thing I forgot to mention was when you do download these icons, you kind of have to download the smaller sizes of them so they can fit on the snakeboard. Because you saw that we had, if I go back to the previous example I showed you, we had smaller versions of these icons. Let me see if I can find them. Okay, so this is the big icon, and the normal icon that we had, which was this one right here. I'm going to download it so you can see the size, because we need to download these icons again with the size. So this was 128 pixels, and the other one was, let me download those ones because we had like icon 1, we had big icons, sorry, not icon 1. So the big icons were bigger in size. Those were the ones that we put in the second screen, like were smaller in size, sorry. So these are the ones that we need to resize to download the size of the icons that we chose of each of these, because that's the size that we're going to be using to place on the snake board. So it's not too big and can move easily on the snake board. So I'm going to delete it because these were my previous icons. So going back to these 4 icons I chose, I need to click on all download formats and download the 64 pixel size of this picture, so we can be able to use that size to place inside of our, place the player's selected icon token on the snake board. So here I'm just going to call this one icon 1, give it a unique name. So these are the ones that we actually need, these sizes. Go back and just make sure you get those photos again that you downloaded. All download formats, click on the option, download the 64 pixel version. So I'm putting, so one thing to do as well is not even rename them right now. I'm just going to put AAA for this one, because we have to name the order, we have to place it according to the order that we are designing on LunaPic. So if this is going to be A, so that means this is icon 1 and icon 2 and icon 3. So we need to kind of finish putting all the icons here so we decide which one's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going back to the icon, but you just have to download the sizes, the smaller versions. That's really important. So I have 2 of them. So going back again, I got the cat and I got the fox. So I'm going to download the penguin and lion. So click on the lion one, click on all download formats, 64 pixels. So I have that now. So refresh and it shows up here. Now I need just the penguin one because that's the one I'm putting as my first option. So this one right here, and then click on all download formats and then 64 pixels. Now let's go back. We have all our 4 icons that have been resized, download to a specific size that will fit on the snake board. Okay, so these are the sizes. You see how small they are, because that's how they're going to be fitting on the snake board. Now let's go back to LunaPic, finish up this design. I think this is pretty okay. So I'm just going to click on, apply. Once you do that, to apply the remaining pictures, just make sure you click on copy image to clipboard again, then go to upload again and select the second one. So the second one will be for me, I will select the cat. Okay, so I will click on cat, and then once you select it, click on copy image to clipboard, scroll down, go to your original design with your first icon. So it should have the first one that you've already applied. Go back to effects and blend to images. And I'm just going to resize this cat to fit. It kind of looks like a shrinked cat, but I'm trying to resize it so it fits well with the penguin that we have. So it looks a little bit bigger. Something like this could look perfect. So remember that you have to have some space for the third and the fourth one, so don't make it too... I think this is perfect enough, so we can reduce it a little bit, but this is okay. So once this is done, click on apply again. So I have the cat, I have the penguin, we are just left with the lion and the other one. So click again, copy image to clipboard. Don't forget to click that anytime you make changes. Go back again, upload, choose, browse. Now I'm going to get the fox. And then of course I'm going to click on copy image to clipboard again. Then go get the original design. And here we have it again. So now we can go to effects, blend to images. And I'm just going to resize this fox right here. Perfect size. There it is. And perfect. So here is the size. Oopsies, right there. And then Well, just try to make sure that everything is kind of aligned on the same lining. Nothing's like too big or too small or a little bit off. So kind of like spaced out nicely too. And once you're ready, then you can click on apply. And then of course you can now go back to clicking on copy image to clipboard again. Then the last picture, which is the fourth icon, so they get to choose from 4 icons which one they want to use for the movement of the token on the snakeboard. So I'm clicking on the lion. And then of course the same thing happens, copy image to clipboard again, go back to history and click on your box, like the history that you had the last 3 in. And now go to effects, take your mouse over effects, blend to images, and now just resize your 4th icon and you're done. And of course, then the last thing to do would be to now put in the names of each of these icons so that the user can choose from whichever one they wanted to use to be the token. So once this is all done, click on apply. Now we have all 4 icons. So I'm just going to go and put the options A, B, C, D, or you can put 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll go to text tool again. So now we're done with the pictures. I'll put option A. I would prefer using letters for me. So I'm going to go to option A. So you can, of course, I'll change the style, which is what I used before. And this is my option A. I also want this to kind of stand out. So I need to put like a standout color. So something like this. Put something, I think this color goes really well. So put option A. And once you're done, click on apply, put option B. And also, once you're done, just try to make them aligned really nicely. So this is option B. And I think that's aligned well. So now option C. So you can put 1, 2, 3, 4, like I said, depends on how you want to do the design. So this is my option C. Okay, so I have all the options, and then I'll put my option D. And then that's pretty much it. So I'll just put a text down there because it seems like I have an empty kind of corner. So this is my option D. It's a little bit too high, so kind of putting it to fit well with what we have. So I think this is pretty okay. So click on apply. Now what I'm going to do is just put an instruction down here. So because I have nothing here, or you can put, if you want, you could go back and be a little bit more creative. Go to draw, click art. You can look for like grass, maybe put something there that looks like a grass. So this actually works for me. I can put in something like this, like a grass background, something like that, just to make it look fun and nice. Yeah, so that could actually work. If you want to put that in, or if you want to put something else, you could just, make it fun. So I'm just going to put this random grass thingy here and just place it nicely on this border edge. And then once you're done, just, of course, click on apply. You could do that, or you can put text. So I have my second screen ready. So this screen's now ready. So what I'm going to do is click on save to download the second screen. And I'm going to, of course, rename stuff right now. So I'm going to refresh it and call this my screen 2. Okay, and then remember what we do. Go back to your program and upload the screen right here. So this is your screen 1. Now I'm going to click on upload file and select screen 2. So my screen 2 was this one. Click on open and I have my screen 2 right here. I will remove the PNG and make it GIF. So now we have everything. All our pictures are in here. The next thing to do is to rename your icon. So which one comes first? Make sure you understand. Which one's coming first? It's the penguin. So that's the one I'm going to make as icon 1. So it aligns well. So icon 1. And the one that comes second is the cat. So I'm going to make that as my icon number 2. So I'm renaming the size, the small sizes, as you can see. So this is going to be icon number 2 because we're going to have to upload these pictures to our program. The fox is number 3, so that's going to be my icon number 3, icon 3. And there's a reason why I'm naming them in a sequential order. And my line is the fourth one, so icon 4. So once you have all of these, you have to upload them now again. So click on upload file and select all the small icons only and say open. That's it right there. So now you can rename again these, just not rename them, but remove the PNG and put just GIF, okay? Because it has to be a GIF extension for these icons to be placed as the tokens on the snake board. So here I'm going to make this GIF. Here I'm also going to make this one as well, GIF. And there it is, .gif. And then of course we have the fourth one, which would also be a .gif. Okay, so this would be .gif as well. So we have all the 4 icons that are small versions now, and we have our design screen. So we can now start putting our background, which will be our screen 1. Then we make the button functional so it can open up to screen 2. We also have to get some music, so we'll do that once we finish this part. So the next thing to do is come back to your code and let's start to insert the libraries that we're going to be needing for this program. So first, we're going to be importing a couple of these libraries, and they will be as follows. So the first one we are going to be importing will obviously be, we're going to be importing time, because we're going to be putting like time pauses between display of state programming statements. We're also going to be importing audio for background music. So from Replit, import audio. And then we're going to import the random module or library, because the computer is the one that randomly picks the positions once the player decides to roll the dice and moves that token across the snake board. Now the next thing to do is we're going to be creating an object of the turtle screen. So we're going to say screen equals to turtle dot screen, capital screen. Okay, and then because that's what we're going to be using to put the background pictures and change screens from one to the next. Then we are going to be creating some variables where we're going to be setting the player's character. So player 1, player character choice. I'm going to call this, and we're going to be equaling it to nothing. So this is the variable that we're going to be setting whatever character the player decides to choose. That's the icon character, and that's going to be used to set on the snake board. I'm going to create one called token, and that's also the one that we're going to be assigning for the snake board based on player choice. And then we are going to be creating some pens. So I'm going to be creating like 5 pens in the beginning. So I'm going to go with something like pen 1. We'll do 5 pens, turtle.turtle. And then we'll do pen 2 is equals to turtle.turtle. Remember that pens in Python turtle are used to put in images or text or anything that you want to put in to make your code interactive. And then pen 4 is equals to turtle.turtle as well. And make sure this turtle is with a capital T, turtle, like that. And then, of course, we have pen 5, which is equals to turtle.turtle as well. Oops, we don't need to put all these pens, so I'm just going to erase them. If we do need some more pens, of course, we will add. But for now, we'll just do pen 1 to 5. So remember, I import turtle, import time. So these are all the libraries that I'm importing that we're going to use. And of course, creating an object of the turtle screen. And we are creating 2 variables, one that's going to be player character choice. If player character choice is equals to option A, actually, we might decide to not use one of these. So if we decide to use just one instead of 2 of these to assign the player's token choice, then we will delete one of them. And then here we have the 5 pens. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be creating a function that's going to be called home screen. This is where we put in the main screen, the first screen design that we have, which is this one. So we're going to be writing screen you can put a BG color if you want first. So I'm going to go with a background color. BG color obviously is background color for your first screen. I'm going to put it as black to make this design stand out. And then we can put in the background picture. So the background picture I'm going to indicate as screen1.gif. That's why I said make it a .gif. And then I'm going to create a function that's going to be called button click so that we can make the start game button functional on the first screen. So we're going to print the X and Y coordinates just like we've done in our previous program. So we get the X and Y coordinates to establish the boundaries of the button so we can specify to the computer to be aware of when the person clicks on any area on that button that we specified, then it means that it needs to open the second screen. So here I'm going to do turtle.onScreenClick. I'm going to be passing the button click function. And then of course I'm going to be doing turtle.listen. And then, of course, I'm going to be doing turtle.done. So, and then finally, call the home screen function and make sure you call it on the same line where you define the home screen. So right here. Okay, so this is pretty much just going to get you started at least to open up your first screen. And this button, this function that we call button click will make the computer recognize when someone's clicking on the start game button that it needs to do something. And so it's like an event handler. And what it needs to do is obviously open up our second screen so they can choose which token character they would like to use on the snake board. So now let's just get to oh, and also I wanted to do a nice welcome message. So if you can do a print here, I really wanted to do a nice welcome message for the user. So I'll just do something like this, and then I'll just do a print as well. And what I want to do is actually put like a bar here, and then put a bar towards the end, something like that. So just something really cool. And then I probably would put another one. And maybe in the middle somewhere, I will put, wanted to put something in the middle, but it seems like it wouldn't work well. So I'm just going to put something like, welcome. Actually, I'll start it from here. Welcome to the Snakes and Ladders game for the user to see. You can ask them, hello, what's your name? You know, that kind of a thing. That would be also good because at the end I did say that we're going to have like a winning screen, so it'll be good to ask the person for their name. So you can do a welcome and you just print this again. So I just did the hyphen thingies. And here I could put a color. So if you wanted to put a color for your text on the console, remember that you can go to this website called Lihawi. And you can select the color that you would like. So I'm going to go here and open up. If you go to Lihawi, you should just search up lihawi.com and make sure you write ANSI escape color codes. You have to write the ANSI escape color codes. I'm highlighting it at the top. So you have to write this ANSI escape color codes once you search up lihawi.com so that you can exactly come to this place and get your colors. So once you come in there, just click on the color, whether you want 8 colors or 6 colors or 16 colors, sorry. I'm going to go with like a yellow color. So I copy the ANSI escape color code. I go back to my program and you can paste it in between quotation marks. So that's going to apply to your text. And here you can ask the user for their name so that you can be able to use it at the end for the winning screen to say, oh, you know, Alicia, you've won the game. Congratulations. So say, please, or you could say, what is your name? Okay. And then give them space to put in their name. And then once that's done, actually that would be something that would be, you print a message saying, and also if you want this to come in a different color, by the way, because if you don't specify the color, everything's going to be applied in this yellow color. If you want a different one, you have to go copy a different color code, come back again and kind of paste it. So this is going to be like in magenta, and then I'll just say print. The game will start. And you can say in a second. And then what happens is, you know, put like dots, dots, dots. And then finally, you could put the name of the person just to make it more personalized. So put the variable name, comma, space. And then you could just make this T and put a comma here. Oh, actually the comma should not be after name, but inside of the quotation marks. And then here, oh, should be there just to separate the two. Forgot about that. I was thinking about Java for a minute. So then it will be like that. And then it will say the game will start in a second. And then you could do a time.sleep for 1 second wait. That's why we have a time. That's why we imported the time library, because we could use a time.sleep for 1 second. And then it just starts to put in the background color and the BG pick. So now let's run this and see how it works so far. So click on the run button. You will need to be patient because it initially is installing these libraries that you've already imported. So you need to be patient for about a minute or so. But once it's done, it's going to run and open up the output screen so you can see, and the console, which you have to see this message printed out, and the output screen. So it's now loading. As you can see, there's our message right there. So I'm just going to stop it and run it again so you can see a clear run of this because it's finished installing all the libraries. So you can see here that we have just this white window. It tells me what's your name. So if I put my name in there, it says, Elisa, the game will start in a second. And you can see that it loads for me very nicely. I'm going to zoom out for you to see the design we have. So this is like our background design that we've put in. And here we don't have anything else. We're trying to make this button functional, which is the reason why I said that we printed the X and Y coordinates, because we're going to need that to make this button functional. So again, just do a quick run. So what it says is in the beginning, it says, what's your name? And once you type in your name, it just basically says the game will start in a second, and it begins. So we are going to be stopping the video tutorial here, and once we come next time, we'll continue working on how to be able to get this button to be functional. So once it's clicked, it opens up, of course, the second screen, which will be the screen where they get to choose the token they would like to use to move on the snake board. So I hope you've enjoyed the first video tutorial for this game, and I'll see you in the next one.